Welcome back. Let's continue looking at another set of questions, adding to the ones we just talked about. What is at stake? Let's look at all the questions first, and then we look at trying to answer these questions collectively. Let's now start reading these questions and trying to see what we truly understand of them. What is truly at stake? What can you afford to lose, or can you afford to lose? So when you're preparing yourself for a marathon, for an individual race, and for an individual sport. So let's say we're not talking about a group activity. We're talking about an individual sport. Yes, you may have a coach, or you may try to do it without a coach. What is at stake ultimately is your own success. If you fail, if you falter, there's no there's no downstream impact. Nobody else gets impacted. Yeah, people who are maybe invested in your success, they'll be disappointed, they'll disheartened, they'll be uh, emotionally they might go through something. They might have to deal with you who is now be in a depressive state just because you failed to achieve your objectives. But there's not a whole lot of stake beyond your immediate boundary. Extend this to a notion of a team. When now a team is now trying to execute something together, and if the team somehow fails to reach the ultimate targets that they set out for themselves. Now the team is not it's not just the team that's now disappointed, it's their supporters who are also disappointed as well. But then again, what's the value? What's the tangible value of that disappointment? Yeah, maybe the team's stock will perhaps go down. Maybe some monetized value notion of maybe the ticket value and all that. Maybe the attendance might drop for people to come and watch the games. But really, the stakes are limited. But when you're talking about a company, when you're talking about a company with even 100 employees or 500 employees or 10,000 or 100,000 employees, company that has needs to have a certain set of directions. When a company they need to be able to achieve their goals. Yeah, they're allowed to make mistakes every once in a while, but they must hit the objective. They must reach their goal. They must reach the target. They must stay profitable. They have all these critical responsibilities and very treacherous roads to follow, because the odds are stacked against them. And we have said this multiple times that if you're a small business owner, you're swimming with the sharks, you're swimming with the crocodiles. The waters are not comfortable, they're not easy, and yet you somehow need to be able to swim and to get to the other side. So what's truly at stake? Can you afford to lose? You cannot really afford to lose. You have a lot at stake. And what it was at stake is not just the financial for you, as the company owner, but for the whole organization. It's for the brand that you have worked so hard to develop. It's about all of that. The ultimate value of your company. So then point number three then, the cost of the coach versus the cost of failure. Can you truly afford to fail? How much will the coach cost you? Depends upon the size of a company. It could be probably less than 1/10 of 1% of your revenue. Uh, um, um, a pitifully small amount as compared to everything else, compared to the whole scheme of things. Can you afford to not invest this much in your company? Again, the numbers could be really all over the place, depending upon where your company is and what kind of a coaching relationship you are getting into. But the point that we're trying to make here is that the cost of a coach should not discourage you from engaging with someone. You really cannot afford to lose. The point number four, can a coach really pay for himself or herself? In most of the cases, we have seen yes. We have seen yes, they can. Because just by engaging with someone and just by them engaging with you, you're able to find to improve your structure. You're able to improve your the way you operate. You're maybe able to improve, reduce some of your losses. You're able to perhaps increase your revenue projections. Maybe you're able to go up from 3.7% growth to 4.3% growth. So they are there to achieve certain results, and just by looking at those results, and in most cases that we have seen, the results themselves, the gains that you can see from the results themselves, they much more than pay for the cost of the coaching engagement in itself. So point number four is an absolutely very valid point, that coaches in most cases pay for themselves. Number five, should you consider group coaching? Again, of course, is a factor, is an important consideration. Should you, no matter how much you've tried to persuade you otherwise, if you're not able to afford, can you do a group coaching? The challenge of a group coaching is, it's like watching a video. It's like learning how to dribble a basketball, or how to gain yards on a golf course by watching a video. Anyone can watch a video, and obviously the video could be produced by the best team, by the best coaches themselves, by the best players perhaps, and everything that they say is absolutely right and spot on. But it's not about a direct focus, direct feedback on you. It's just generic. This is the problem with group coaching, that the recommendations that you get, they're not tied specifically to not just to what you are and who you are, but what you're going through at that precise moment in time. The coaching relationship, it needs to address what we just said a moment ago: who you are, what you are, and what you're going through at this precise moment in time. So group coaching is, as compared to no coaching at all, it could be something semi-viable, but it's not the ultimate target. And then short-term versus long-term coaching. This really is twofold question. Short-term coaching is typically for a very specific objective that we are trying to. For example, if I'm struggling on the golf course, I might decide to hire a coach just to help me with my swing, or just to help me with my backlift, or to help me with my follow through, to help me with even my club selection, just so I'm able to get a few extra yards. Or maybe if I'm struggling in getting the ball out of a bunker or on the putting green, then maybe I might hire a different coach just to help me with that. So that's a very specific engagement, well-defined objective, and with the start and end. And when I've achieved the results, I just may say goodbye and so long to the coach and be done with that. So that's a very short-term objective for that engagement. Or it could be a long-term engagement, which is more about take us through the journey for the next X number of years. This is where we are, this is where we want to be, and come and examine the way I play, the way we conduct ourselves, the way we do everything, and help us get to the ultimate target. And coaches could be for a short term, or they could be for long term. And again, can the long term coach play the game of the short term coach as well? Yes, they absolutely can, but they just have to be focused on that, right? And you've got to be focused on that as well. All right, let's now continue.